Hi, my name is Beth Hiley here for Board Game Geek at Origins 2019. I'm sitting down with Tom Donnellan and Zach James. You guys are both from Heartland Consumer Products, and you brought us a fun dice game called Shake It Up! Dice Poker!
That's right, Beth. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Now, so we just kind of have your rule book image here, but just so people have an idea of what the cover might look like. But why don't you take us through what are we trying to do, and what is the turn going to feel like?
Awesome. Well, it all starts with these beautiful and amazing dice. Some of you might remember the classic Square Shooters dice game. It was the first deck of playing cards printed on dice, and we're actually here to reboot a board game that's optimized for more competitive play. Actually, the past few years we've been focused on doing some things in social gaming, social casino gaming, and we've learned a lot about our branding position and the nature of making the game optimized for more of a as I said, a competitive game experience. So what we've got here are, it all starts here with 9 dice, which 9 dice have 54 total sides, right?
And so can I just say these are like significantly chunkier dice than your average dice, which might be a little hard to see on camera.
Got it.
I mean, what, 20 millimeters?
22, actually,
okay.
Beth. Excellent. Yeah, the dice are special, and they deserve to, feel special in your hand.
Yeah, they feel very satisfyingly.
They've got a good weight, yeah.
Yes.
What makes them special is that 54 surfaces are a perfect match for a full deck of 52 playing cards.
Plus 2 jokers.
And a pair of jokers, right? What makes them,
that.
the dice patented actually, is that if, when you map 6 playing cards to a particular die, if you put 2 cards of the same rank on that die and then through the dice, you could never do the thing that is the most familiar game achievement of all time, right? For 1,000 years, playing cards have been structured to achieve a 4 of a kind, and so the mapping of the card faces needs to allow all 13 ranks to be rolled. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and also this, another important goal in card play.
Say royal straight.
Is a royal flush or a straight flush or a rummy run. There's a lot of ways to think about these achievements, but the bottom line is our dice are naturally scripted to achieve all of the important hands in the game of poker and rummy and
I hope people appreciate what a puzzle that is to make sure that I know exactly, you're shaking your head like
It's amazing, and when we brag about it, Beth, we didn't invent it. We're bragging on behalf of Carmelyn Calvert, unfortunately, who is deceased as of since 2015, but she's an amazing woman who created something that should have been done hundreds of years ago, and we're happy to carry her legacy on and bring her dice to life in a fun new board game. So Zach, why don't you give it a roll and show us how this game works?
And here, I'm actually going to bring your score pads a little bit over here, so we'll kind of roll in the middle, make sure everyone can see the action.
Sure, absolutely. So you can go traditional and roll by hand, or we've also got fancy little cup that you can use.
Which I like. It's got like the traditional green, dealer green in the inside edge.
Right, yeah. So I prefer to do the cup. So what we do is you've got 3 rolls, 3 rounds of rolling the dice to achieve whatever the poker hand is. So right now we're trying to make a 2 pair. So I'm going to go ahead.
So we've got a scorecard here. It may look familiar, like other board games that have been popular for ages. We've got the entire rank of poker hands, from low, starting with the 2 pair, all the way to a royal flush, and even a 5 of a kind, which is a special hand that's possible with our game. And we're going to actually just go in order to complete these each poker hand. So Zach's off and running to try to achieve a 2 pair.
Right. So I'm going to hold on to these jacks here. But I've got 2 more rolls.
Here, I'm actually going to put those, we'll park those up on your board there.
Oh, well there we go. 2 aces, and I've got a wild. So if I hold on to one of these jacks, I'll be good, but maybe I can get a king. So this is my last roll, and there we go.
Get a king.
Ace, king. So for my 2 pair, I got 2 aces and 2 kings, and I made the hand. So I get 1 point, and I got the best poker hand available for this hand, so I get a second point.
Because no other 2 pair combination could be an ace, ace, king, king.
Right.
So now I'll take my turn, and I've got a pair of aces and another pair of aces. But let's say for the sake of
That
argument,
was totally at random.
that's pretty tough to beat.
I know, that's pretty-
That was
But let's
awesome.
say
that was awesome.
let's say that I took my 3 turns and I ended up
All right.
with aces over 7s, right? Then I would go ahead and fill in ace, ace, 7, 7, and I got the goal, but I did not get the best hand. Zach beat me. So the idea here is this is poker in the sense of the ranking of ace king beats the ranking of ace 7.
So you're kind of comparing both of your 2 pairs.
Absolutely.
Rather than the single best hand of any combination on the deck. Yeah.
Right. So
Absolutely.
this is like popular dice games like Farkle or Kismet meeting the ranking of poker. And so for this hand, I get 1 point. Zach gets 2, and very, very straightforward. And there's a little, you could see Zach hedging with his first turn, holding that.
Yeah.
He didn't want to put away those jacks, but he kept that wild card in case he could roll a king. Now the game, as you move towards the more difficult poker hands, there's a lot of texture and a lot of decision making with what you choose to hold.
And
or
is this
roll.
the kind of game where you could pretty much have as many players as you want to comfortably fit around the table, or do you recommend sort of a cap?
We recommend 4 to 6. It's sort of a party game with sort of families and folks maybe before or after an intense role-playing game. But with a second set of dice, maybe to speed play.
Yeah.
It's easy to get 8, 10, 12. We actually, one of our play testers tested with a group of 12, and they just reported they needed 2 sets of dice to kind of keep things moving along.
Right.
So, but Beth, aside from the hedging and the sort of thoughtfulness that may go into the, choosing what to play, we also have some power-up cards that come with the game set. Actually, a set of, is it 30, Zach, or 30?
Yeah, we've got 30 cards. Everybody, so we've optimized the game up to 5 people, so everybody gets 5 cards. And our power-ups are the ability to retake a turn, to make any die a wild card, to gain an extra 4th roll on your turn, or to make any 8s you roll crazy 8s, so wild cards, right? And so you can play these at any time on your turn, and you can play as many of them on your turn as you'd like. So you get 2 extra rolls and then 1 of the others. And so basically, if you're a hoarder and you save your cards until the final rounds, you might just
Amazing
be
turn.
right. You might just be playing your power-ups, consistently to try and make that last final hand. Or, throughout the game, if you need an extra boost and, if I miss this one round, I'm going to, drop behind a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and use my extra roll here. It gives it a little more depth and a little more decision making on your turn, and can really, change the tide of everything.
Now,
And that's optional. Like, you wouldn't have to play with those if you don't want to.
Right,
Right.
exactly. There you can, it's sort of use them or lose them though. So there you have every incentive, and it does get difficult to make certain hands. So it's probably, we found in play testing that they're most often all used. I'll show you an example. The game's designed to move sequentially down the score pad, and that's to make the competitiveness more direct in terms of who got the better hand for this round. But it is possible to play, we're going to have certain alternative rules, Beth, where players might want to play a version where they can skip around the scorecard. And I'm telling you that because I'm going to dive in and play the straight flush hand as if Zach and I have played the game.
Okay.
But I want to show you that, it's not, it's straightforward, but it's not exactly, I've got two cards here in a straight flush. Now remember, our dice are patented. I can always get the 6 and the 7 and the jack and the queen. They're over
Right.
here.
It's always possible.
But it doesn't mean that I'm
You're
going
going
to roll it. So here's a king, but that's the 6th card.
You only
I
have
need-
1 roll left.
I need 5 in a row, right? Not 6 in a row. So I'm going to pull that king back in and roll again, and there's a whole lot of nothing.
Didn't help you.
But I rolled 2 8s, so I could use my crazy 8s card,
Aha.
and this turns these 2 8s into wilds. And I could take an extra roll to try to roll
See if you get lucky.
one more. And I got it.
You got
So
it.
8, 9, 10, jack, queen, right? That's a straight flush. And I would fill that hand in down here. And then
And
Zach would probably roll a 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King.
yeah, probably.
All right.
Now, when do you guys think this is going to be available?
So we're planning to launch a Kickstarter actually midsummer. And I hate to use the word guarantee, but we actually have some inventory of some of our parts, some of the dice and some things that need to be maybe relabeled.
Yeah.
But we're really hopeful that for our first supporters, it's a holiday gift. That we're in a position to rapidly execute
Much
and get
faster,
games
yeah.
out there for the holidays. So obviously a lot will depend on how the Kickstarter goes. We don't have an exact date, but we're hoping for July on the early side. Could be August, but it's coming soon. It'll be in the summer, and our goal is to be shipping by the holiday.
Well, if you guys want to check that out, that is going to be Shake 'em Up, the dice poker game, which is so aimed for later this summer. And Tom and Zach, thank you so much for letting us take a look.
Awesome. Thank you,
thanks a
Beth.
bunch, Beth.
Awesome. Have a great show.
Cool.